Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great cosmic shift in the Marvel Universe this week. One of the greatest contributors to pulp comics, to comic books, to the overall, I call it the Marvel treasury of characters, has passed away. The great John Romita Sr. Died on June 12th in Floral Park, New York. Now, the penciler and inker was such an impactful artist. A 5-minute podcast wouldn't cover it, but we're going to try to give as much tribute in this short podcast. Now, he's best known for his work on Marvel Comics' Amazing Spider-Man and brought ASM into the modern era. And also for co-creating characters including Mary Jane Watson, the Punisher, Wolverine before he joined the X-Men, and Luke Cage, Power Man. Romita was the father of John Romita Jr., also a comic book artist and a husband of Virginia Romita, for many years Marvel's traffic manager. His first comics work was in 1949 as a ghost artist for Timely Comics, the precursor to Marvel, through which Romita met editor-in-chief Stan Lee. In 1951, he began drawing horror, war, and romance comics for Atlas Comics, previously Timely, and also drew his first superhero work, a 1950s revival of Captain America. He began working exclusively for DC from 1958 to 1965, as was the artist for many of their popular romance comics. During these years, he further developed his ability to draw beautiful women, which he later became well known for, of course, which led to Mary Jane. Now, Romita joined Marvel in 1965, initially drawing the early version of Daredevil. In 1966, when Spider-Man artist and co-creator Steve Ditko left Marvel, ended up in Charlton later on, Romita was chosen by Ryder Lee as a new artist for ASM. Now, within a year of Romita becoming the Spider-Man artist, The Amazing Spider-Man rose from Marvel's second best-selling title to the company's top seller, which led to the 1968 animated series and the popularity that Amazing Spider-Man has now. Romita brought a new romance style to Spider-Man comics and soon became the new house style for the character. In June 1973, Romita was promoted to Marvel's art director and heavily influenced the look of Marvel Comics throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Now, he was inducted into Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame in 2002. Now, he started at the age of 17, where he received his first artist work from the Manhattan General Hospital. And his anesthesiologist paid Romita $60 a week to create a medical exhibit on pneumatology medicine, which Romita completed in 6 months. Now, he eventually entered the comics industry in 1949 on his series Famous Funnies, and it went from there. He wasn't making too much back then, sometimes $30 a week, sometimes $15, sometimes $20. But his work on Captain America for Atlas Comics, again, the DC Comics main romance comics artist in 1960, when he joined Marvel again, the Spider-Man plots. Now, a lot of people know this, but maybe you don't. He based Mary Jane on Anne Margaret. And if you see the early signs of Mary Jane, because Mary Jane is teased in several comics. Now, he won the Inkpot Award in 1979, made a Hall of Fame in 2002, and got the Joe Sinnett Hall of Fame Award in 2020. Now, he and his two sons, Victor and John Jr., were following his footsteps to become John Jr. became a noted comic book artist. Now, Romita's been credited again with creating a new Spider-Man with romance and adventure influence that appealed to even a wider audience and had a great kind of soap opera super couple fame. Mary Jane and Amazing Spider-Man were kind of the super couple after Gwen Stacy's unfortunate death by the Green Goblin. Now, according to Alex Ross, and he knows great art, for me, John Spidey is a designer of such perfection and beauty so as to be simply the greatest looking character in comics by his hand. Now, DC Comics, so many romance thing. Marvel, countless ones. But what really stood out for me, ladies and gentlemen, was one of my favorite comic books was Uncanny X-Men 177 in 1984. So I'm really going to miss John. When I was a kid, the 12 and 15 cent Spider-Man with John's artwork were like gold. They would be traded throughout our community of Gravel Hill, where basically everyone would have a chance to read it. And just like Neil Adams and Jill Kane, boys, I was so fortunate to read John R. Sr. You will be missed, brother. And there's a place in heaven for great talents like you, and you're the right hand of God like you've been for the last few years.